Let the function f where f of x equals 1 on 3x minus 1. Find the rule of f inverse. To find the rule of f inverse, we let y is equal to f of x, which is 1 on 3x minus 1. We then swap the x and y variables and solve for y. And so this is going to be x is equal to 1 on 3y minus 1. And if we cross multiply, then we're going to get 3y minus 1 is equal to 1 on x. And so 3y is going to be 1 on x plus 1. And solving for y, we're going to get y is equal to 1 on 3 times 1 on x plus 1, which is 1 on 3x plus 1 on 3. And so therefore, f inverse of x is going to have the rule 1 on 3x plus 1 on 3. State the domain of f inverse. The domain of f inverse is going to be the range of f. To find the range of f, we need to sketch the graph of f of x. F of x is a positive hyperbola. The vertical asymptote is found when the denominator is equal to 0. So 3x minus 1 is equal to 0, which means 3x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 1 on 3. And so the asymptote is going to be when x is equal to 1 on 3. The horizontal asymptote is going to be the line y is equal to 0, since there's no constant added or subtracted. The domain of f of x is all real numbers except when x equals 1 on 3, which is the maximal domain. So we need to sketch the full graph of f of x, which will be something like this. And so the range of f of x is going to be all real numbers except for 0. And that's because we have a horizontal asymptote at the line y is equal to 0. And therefore, the domain of f inverse is going to be all real numbers except for 0. Let g be the function obtained by applying the transformation t to the function f, where t is defined by the given matrices, and c and d are real numbers. Find the values of c and d given that g is equal to f inverse. F is the original function, which is equal to 1 on 3x minus 1. And g of x, which is the transform function, is the inverse of f, which we found to be 1 on 3x plus 1 on 3. In order to quickly read the transformations from f to g, what you need to do is rewrite each function so the coefficient of x is a positive 1. So f of x is going to be 1 on 3 times x minus 1 on 3, and g of x I'll write as 1 on 3 times x in brackets plus 1 on 3. And so reading the transformation of f of x, it's a hyperbola translated 1 on 3 units to the right, and no translations in the y direction. To help you visualize this, we can sketch the graph of f. So there'll be a vertical asymptote when x equals 1 on 3, and the graph will look something like this. The graph of g is also our hyperbola, translated 1 on 3 units up this time, and no translations in the x direction. Sketching the graph of g. This is going to look something like this. To go from f of x to g of x, we would need to translate the graph of f of x 1 on 3 units to the left. The value of c in the matrices affects the horizontal translation of the graph, and a translation of 1 on 3 units to the left in matrix forms means that C is equal to negative 1 on 3. Then we would need to translate the function 1 on 3 units up. The value of D affects the vertical translation of the graph, and in matrix form, the value of D would then be 1 on 3. To practice more exam-style questions related to inverse functions, log into the Maths Methods Club and from the main topics select Functions and Graphs. And from the subtopics select Inverse Functions. Here you'll see all the inverse function questions asked in the exams from 2006 to 2020. To try tech-free questions, go to question type and then select tech-free. Hope this video helped, and I'll see you guys in the next.